Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 1, Lesson 3. We're doing rates. Scan the lesson 2 real-world scenarios in which you would use rates. We'd use them for cost per ticket. Also distance. Traveled. In a number of minutes. So a number that represents part of a whole or part of a set, that is a fraction. A ratio, a comparison of two quantities by division. And a rate comparing two simplified I'm doing a unit rate. So a rate is a ratio comparing two quantities with different kinds of units. That's what we're going to be doing. So to the right, it says 36 miles for every 3 hours. That's the same as 36 miles per 3 hours. Or that'd be 12 miles per hour. Because we simplified. A unit rate is a rate that is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1. Oh, so that's what I just did. So this over here is a unit rate. So the real world link. Desiree typed a 15-character text message in 5 seconds. Write the rate Desiree typed as a fraction. So she did 15 characters in 5 seconds. What operation would you use to write the fraction's simplest form? We are going to divide, because we know fractions are division. So a unit rate would be 5 characters per second. So finding unit rates. A rate is a ratio comparing two quantities of different kinds of units. A unit rate has a denominator of 1 when the rate is written as a fraction. To write a rate as a unit rate, divide the numerator and denominator of the rate by the denominator. It's a little wordy. What it's saying is when you have the denominator, divide both the top and bottom by that same denominator. That way you get the unit rate of 1 on the bottom. So looking at the example, Samantha picked 45 oranges in 5 minutes. Write this rate as a unit rate. Well, 45 oranges is going to be the numerator, and 5 minutes is going to be the denominator. And remember, it says divide them both by the denominator. That way we get the unit rate of 1. So it'd be 45 oranges for every 5 minutes. And we simplify that because I'm dividing by my denominator, that equals 9 oranges per minute. That is a unit rate because now my denominator has 1. It says the Australian dragonfly can travel 18 miles in 30 minutes. How far can the dragonfly travel in 1 minute? Write the rate as a fraction. Compare the distance to the number of minutes, then divide. So we have a ratio 18 miles for every 30 minutes. And then we cannot divide by 30. It says write the rate as a fraction. Compare the distances to the number of minutes, then divide. So this is actually a ratio from 3 to 5. Because once we simplify, we get 3 miles for every 5 minutes. The ratio of 3 to 5 cannot be simplified to a whole number rate. It can be written as 3 miles to 5 minutes, or a unit rate of 3/5 of a mile to 1 minute. So what this means is we simplified it to the most we can, but now we have 3/5 of a mile to 1 minute. So this is how we get the denominator of 1. It's actually going to be here. So it's 3/5 of a mile per minute. 3/5 of a mile, and then you do another fraction per minute. And that's how you get the denominator of 1. Is the whole 3/5 is going to be the numerator. And we normally don't put fractions in numerators because it kind of confuses us. So go ahead and try the got it, and I'll be back with you shortly. So I was able to find the ratios, 35 songs for every 5 minutes. And that's going to equal, so divide by 5 on both sides, or top and bottom, 7 songs per minute. And that is going to be my unit rate. For this one, we just have to simplify. So divide by 3 on both sides. So it's going to be 3/4 cup of water for every cup of wheat. So we're pretty much just simplifying our ratios to get our unit rate. So example 3. An adult's heart beats about 2,100 times every 30 minutes. A baby's heart beats about 2,600 times every 20 minutes. How many more beats does a baby heart beat in 60 minutes than an adult heart? Okay. So we have a lot of things we need to take in consideration. The question's asking how many more beats does a baby heart beat in 60 minutes? So we know how much it does in 20 minutes. And with this information, we can find out how much it does in 60 minutes. So one thing we can do is you can find the unit rates of each, the adult and the baby. So the adult is going to be 2,100 beats for every 30 minutes, or 70 beats per 1 minute. So the baby, same thing, 2,600 beats for every 20 minutes, or 130 beats for 1 minute. And then once we find these, it's asking for 60 minutes, so we're going to multiply both of these by 60, because we don't want it 1 minute, we want it to be 60 minutes. So 70 times 60 is 4,200 beats, and a baby is going to be 7,800 beats, because we multiplied them both by 60. And the last step says, how many more? We know that's to subtract. So we have 7,800 minus 4,200, which equals 3,600. So in 60 minutes, it does 3,600 more. I'm going to show you a different way, the way I would have done. I know 2,100 for every 30 minutes. This is for adult. What I would have done was I wouldn't simplify. I know if I times it by 2, I'm going to get 60 minutes. So I'd get 4,200 over 60 right away for the adult. And for the baby, same thing. Except for, I know to get from 20 to 60, I'm going to multiply it by 3. Times 3 times 3. And that would get me 7,800 over 60 minutes. Now that I have these, then I would do the same thing. I would subtract and get 3,600 more beats. Now, whatever method you'd like to use, it's up to you. So go ahead and try C. So we look at a hummingbird, it's 7,500 for 30 minutes. And we want to compare it to a baby's for 60 minutes, which we already have. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this to 60 minutes. So it's 15,000 over 60 minutes. And a baby is 7,800. So I'm going to take 15,000 Subtract that from 77,800. So this is a hummingbird. And this is a baby. So 0, 0, we need to borrow 2, 7. So 7,200 beats. So what I did was I found the rate and I made it to 60 minutes and I subtracted the hummingbirds from the babies to find out how many more beats the hummingbird does. So now finding a unit price. So you can use what you know about unit rates to find a unit price. The unit price is the cost per unit. So it's pretty much the same thing, except for now we're dealing with money. To write a price as a unit price, divide the numerator and denominator by the rate of the rate by the denominator. So same thing. Denominator, we're dividing it by the same number. So denominator is 4, so we're going to divide the top and bottom by 4. So it's $36 for every 4 tickets. The unit price is $9 per 1 ticket. So example 4, 4 potted plants cost $88. So I have $88 for every 4 plants. If we divide it by the denominator, divide by 4, divide by 4, each plant is going to cost $22 for 1 plant. And so that will be, so the price per potted plant is $22.